everybody, and welcome back to the Linepull Podcast. We have a special episode today. We got two guests for our Women in Cranes podcast today. We've got Jody and we've got Melody with us here today.
Absolutely, there. Ladies, thank you for coming on to our show with us. Real quick, before we introduce you, we'd like to plug our new sponsor because it seems like we're actually starting to make ground here. Kariahna, who is providing the hats and T-shirts?
We have got AAA Crane and Rigging in Addis, Louisiana, sponsoring us now.
For all your crane rigging and testing needs in the South and Louisiana area, go ahead and check out AAA Crane and Rigging. So moving on from, thank you guys for what you guys are doing, and we appreciate you helping us grow the show. Moving on from there, again, my name is Travis. You can find me on TikTok at Timberline7. My co-host, partner host today is Kariahna, Carrie B on TikTok. She's become one of our regular hosts on the show. And joining us today for our Women in Cranes, Jody and Melody. Jody, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, what you operate, how you got into the industry, and a little bit just your story.
All right. I've been in Local 234 out of Iowa for 27 years. And I started out in dirt work, and then I moved into cranes about 13 years ago. And I've ran everything from a neck breaker, like a Broderson, up to MLC 650.
Nice.
So
what's your class of crane of choice? Like ATs, crawlers, towers, RTs?
You know, I like my crawlers, but my favorites are like a 130 Grove RT. I'm in a 160 Tadano right now. I love them. So
nice.
Little squirt booms, as people call them.
Is that's still a pin and latch though, right? And it's
Yes.
supposed to in a 160. Yeah.
Yes.
It's not okay. I got you. I'm just a boom truck head, so
Yeah. No, I like my 16,000, my 18,000s, my Manitowoc. I like my red steel. So I'm not a LeBaire person. I know, isn't it crazy?
It is. You know, they say people that don't like LeBaires are the people that haven't run a LeBaire.
I'm not saying I don't like them. I'm saying I don't run them. They're not a lot up here. Down south, when I go to Texas, there's a lot of LeBaires, but
really,
yeah, we've got LR 1600 on this job. Mm-hmm. We also have DMAG, which I'm not trained on. So
okay. So all right. Well, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Melody, tell us a little about yourself, what you do, how long you've been in, and what's your story?
I have been in tower cranes for 19 years. I started out under my stepdad's hook. They needed an operator, backup operator. And so they gave me a 2-year contract with the company that he was working for. I ran dirt work. I worked, skid steers. I ran excavators, backhoes. And then, I chased the hook pretty much for a little while. And then Dad gave me a chance in the crane. Right now I'm running a 550 Comanza.
Oh, really?
But I've run Piners, Zoom Lions, Commodilles. Yeah, that's it.
What about the Potane?
No, I've ran a Potane for fill-in, but it wasn't for a long time.
All right, so what's your favorite?
A Piner is the easiest crane to run for tower cranes. Mm-hmm. It's got a good swing on it. The Zoom Line has a excellent swing on it as well. It's fast. But I like this Comanza because I can go from 2-part to 4-part line in it. So it makes it a whole lot easier, but you can't take it out as far as you would like.
So how much jib you got in that one?
262.
Still. Whew, that's still some stick.
Yeah.
All right, so what is your record for max stick and max height?
So max height was 680. I filled it on a Liebherr in Dallas. And the longest stick is the one I have right now.
Okay. Well, I see Jody in the corner there, like 680 feet up. You are high. I'm not going up that high.
Nope. Nope.
Jeez.
I don't want to do a 140 ton or 140 foot tower crane. I don't want to do a 40 foot
Hey,
tower
you
crane.
know what? It pays all the same. So
See,
Actually-
I'm kind of in the middle. I will not get in a basket. I don't like that. But on like a tower crane, I did a little bit of training with them. It's comfortable. I'm comfortable with it. I didn't basket. Hell no. Mm-mm.
But see,
you
look,
guys
that's how
missing the
I got
rush.
rid of my fear of heights. My dad took me in the basket, ran me all the way out on the tip of the trolley, swung me all the way around 360,
Nope.
and that's how I got rid of my fear of heights. I mean, I don't have a fear; it's more of a respect, you know.
Absolutely.
Mm.
I get nervous if I got to climb more than 15 feet up to get in my cab.
Hey, you saw me climb that crane over there, Texas Live. So, and I used to do that in like 12 minutes.
Yeah.
And that was what, 240?
Yeah. Huh.
Mm.
You can have it.
I'm curious, how long did it take you to climb that 600 plus feet? And did you at least get to take like the building's elevator up to a certain point, get off on the top floor, walk over to the crane, and then climb the next, hopefully 100 some odd feet up?
Yep, that's exactly what happened. I
Oh,
took
okay.
the elevator all the way
a lot easier.
up. I went in, there's a little bridge over, and then I climbed the rest of the way up. And it maybe took me 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. See, that's not bad.
But sometimes they don't have that option. Some
Right.
general contractors will not let you do that, and you have to climb the whole way up.
Mm.
Or you start climbing down into the basement to get to the base of the tower, and then you climb up.
I get a little winded climbing up my RT, so I'm not.
Those muscles have been built in me for the 19 years that I've been operating, so it's not like it really bothers me. It's just more, I'm accustomed to it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You'll build up what you need. Kariahna, you got the news today. So now that we've done our introductions, let's roll into a little bit of news, especially related to our current topic.
Right. So if you are a regular here on the Linepull Podcast, usually we do a news segment about some sort of crane or some new and upcoming thing. Today we're going to try and kind of change that up a little bit. I'm just going to give you some statistics, about women in construction, not necessarily in cranes, because I really couldn't find a breakdown of that because there's just not enough for them to come up with a statistic. I'm using the National Association of Women in Construction. They've compiled a whole list of all these different numbers. So women in construction numbered 1.5% of the entire U.S. workforce in 2018.
It went down.
1.5%.
I believe it.
And even within that, a breakdown of women in the workforce, the women actually in the field comes down to about 1%. When you exclude women in the office, women in the engineering parts of things, women in the field is 1% of the 1 million women in the construction industry.
We got to change that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I did some look at the statistics.
And that's what we're here to.
Yeah, we want to change that. That's what we're here for. I did some more look into the statistics of like the breakdown of years. In 2008, there was about 1,069,000 women. And then in 2009, there was a drastic cutoff that went to 970,000. And it continued to decline from there, where it reached 802,000 in 2012.
Well, 2012, between 8 and 12, we had kind of the recession.
Right.
There wasn't a whole lot of work going on.
Right. And then it hasn't came back up. It took a jump from 2017 with 971,000 to 2018 had 1,106,000. So, I mean, you can definitely see that work was starting to go again and women were starting to get back out in the field. But we have to remember these statistics include office women, women that are dispatchers, women that are doing anything else, not just necessarily women in the field. So of the 10,692,000 total construction workers, 1 million of them were women. If that. Some of the statistics say closer to 971,000. So, and then, the big one that, and even as the statistic says, and as the resource says, there is much less of a wage gap between women in construction and women in other industries. And I have to agree. I don't see it as much, especially on the union side of things.
Mhm.
We have scale. We are going to make scale no matter what. Now you can get into, oh, she's given less hours, she's not given these opportunities, and that's where the wage gap kind of comes in our
Right.
industries. According to statistic, on average, women make 81% less than what men make. But in the construction occupation, it's only 99.1%, which I think is amazing. That is huge.
I feel like at that point it'd kind of come down to the individual person, individual skill sets, time, and experience.
Right. I mean, for only a 0.9% difference, I mean, that's still, we could close that gap, but for the most part, I mean, we have closed that gap by 20%. That is significant.
Melody, Jody, what is your guys' thoughts on the wage gap in the construction industry in particular?
The only time I really see, since I'm union, difference in wages is if, like, they bring somebody in on a specialty crane and scale is this, and they offer them, $2 more or $4 more, or whatever, or if they're labeled a foreman, or you're going to get extra because you do a little paperwork, that kind of thing. But a lot of that's not talked about because they don't want it. But I know that my big stick operators get more than me, not just in scale or boom pay, those kind of breakdowns, because it all differs from state to state. But no, I mean, I think everybody on the job that I'm on right now, we're all making the same if we're in the same class.
Right.
And I do know that, like you said, like the hours and whatnot, I'm dealing with some of that right now. So,
Melody, what are your thoughts on the wage gap?
Well, the company that I work for is really good with women. They have the CFO is a woman, and it's a really a good company to work for. And so they pretty much came out in the open when I first started that we're all making the same pay. So I think that was very beneficial, and to not have to deal with that issue, because union versus non-union, it's a difference. But when you're non-union, I mean, everyone can negotiate their pay, And so, but I have to say that they've been very fair, and I make, good money.
Very nice. So, all right. I guess moving on to our next the topic question here. Why did you guys pick cranes or the construction trades? Like what attracted you to cranes in particular, really? Especially because both of you, you've all worked dirt before coming over to cranes.
I think we all have.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where they stuck me right out of apprentice 27 years ago. I have a degree in accounting. I used to be an accountant. I used to wear a suit. And I don't know if I can say this, but every day I wanted to punch a bitch. So I had to get out. I mean, a couple tip desks and some your number ones. And I was like, I can't. So
done.
I was raised on a farm, and I ran equipment since I was like 7. And I'm third generation, local 234. And I'm very proud of that. And I mean, my sister, my brother-in-law were both in local 234. My cousins, I'm the one that stuck the longest. But I chose to go into it because, I knew I would be out there by myself. I wouldn't have to hurt anybody. But going into it, I kind of moved through the ranks. I did dirt, and then I did a stationary, and then I did building and trades, and that's where I was doing forklifts and buck hoist and things like that. And the money's in the cranes. And I kept getting told, and then it happened. I was told I would never make it in a crane.
Ah.
And I said, watch this. And I
That is
did.
that is an amazing attitude to have, the way you took it there, because this lead right into our next topic. But I don't want to cover you, Melody. What are your thoughts on that, or on
Well,
what attracted you to the tower cranes?
so I grew up in cranes. My stepfather was an operator, so a lot of his friends that he hung out with were operators. And when I was in college, I was, serving two jobs. I mean, I was doing two serving jobs, and I was going to college trying to support myself. And my dad said, "Hey, do you want a job?" And so he struck a deal with the company I was with. And, it was funny. Dad always said, I built that building. And now I'm in that same thing with my kids, It's a very rewarding career because you get to see your work progress in front of you and you get to see the final product.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But Jody, you touched on it. Let's talk about it. The thought that, women can't do this. What is, how'd you overcome that? Like, Jody, you said, you just said step back and watch me. All right. I'll prove you wrong. And not only actually going on top of that, like how much hate have you taken? How do you handle it? And where do you draw the line to where, okay, so maybe it's just a fun little razzing, it's the blue collar world. Everybody gives everybody else a hard time, but where do you draw that line? And what do you personally do to say enough is enough? I'm done.
Well, it's everywhere. It's been there since, I started. I mean, the old timers wouldn't even talk to me. They would send one of the young guys over to tell me where I needed to go cut, and and I figure that in most cases you got to kind of come in like you own it. I mean, every time I go to a new job, like in a new city or whatever, because I do travel a lot, it's like, hello boys. I don't say hey guys, it's hello boys.
Yeah.
And I kind of set the tone, but I have a lot of people, oh, she's hard to get along with. No, I'm not. I am really easy to get along with. But yeah, you get it. I mean, Melody knows this one. Guy's like, oh, I know how she got that job. She did a little, or whatnot. And I don't know if I can say it on here, so I don't want to.
You can say anything. Okay. It's fine. We're not restricted.
She sucked a dick to get a job, or she have to, And it's like, my comeback is, you had to suck a dick to get the job? Like, oh wow, I didn't. Yeah. But there's a lot. There's still some people out there that they don't like us, and I don't give a shit.
And good on you. So in the time that you've started to up till now, do you think the industry has become more accepting? It's especially, I guess, well, do you think they've become more accepting of women in the trades? Do you think harassment has come down, become less common?
I think that companies are more accepting.
Yeah.
Of women, they say. But when there is harassment or just derogatory marks, they don't want to see it.
I don't see a problem.
Yeah.
I kind of just dealt with that on a job a couple weeks ago where I was bringing up a safety issue, and he's like, I think you want today to be your last day. And I was like, hold on a minute.
Two checks, okay.
I was like, yeah, you can just mail them to me, but we're going to talk about this first. And I ended up better for it, but sometimes it just doesn't, and it wasn't just me. It was, some of the guys who came forward with this issue, but, of course, we're listening.
Oh.
I come with it, and they're like, are you sure? And I here's the OSHA standard. Oh, well, today's your last day. You had an
mansplaining. It's mansplaining.
You had an attitude yesterday. I had an attitude yesterday, but This other guy over here just threatened to piss on somebody. Like, what? What? No, I don't know. I don't have nearly as much time to say, oh, it's changed or oh, it hasn't. But I can say, as someone who's been in within the last 5 years,
it's changed.
They say that it's so much better. It's so inviting. And it's like you get to the first day on your job and you're like, okay, you have to stand strong because you don't know who you're going to meet. You don't know who you're going to walk into. You don't know if they're going to immediately hate you just because you exist. You don't know if you're going to have wives come on the job site that are pissed that you talk to their husbands. Like, girl, I don't want him.
That's all the time.
He doesn't have all his teeth and he smells. And those are the same clothes he wore yesterday. I don't want him. I'm okay. Like, I feel like that's an issue too.
Oh, yeah.
Melody, you were shaking your head a moment ago. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, there's a lot I could agree with, but in my mind, it has changed a lot over the years. But like as a woman in construction, you just have to know your boundaries. And, when you put those boundaries up, you're going to have people fight you back on them. I mean, even in regular life, you're going to have people fight back on those. And so you got to know what you can handle. And like documenting things is your best friend. Because like it comes to a point where it's too much, and then you just have to go to the supervisor, and you can't make a man work. So if the supervisor doesn't want to do his job, then that's on him. But you did everything in your power to be able to keep yourself safe. And I think that it's very important to be able to put those boundaries down when it comes to inappropriate situations.
Right. Knowing when's enough to step away and just take defeat, take your 2 checks and go to the house.
Well, I wouldn't say to that point. I would just put it in their hands and let them deal with it, because you're going to have haters everywhere. No matter what job you go to, you walk on that job and they're like, the office is over there. No, I'm going to go run that crane over there.
Right.
And you're going to have it no matter what. And so like my life verse is perseverance builds character. And you know what? Every day, like I put my mind to it. I can do it.
Speaking of putting your mind to it and doing it, how do you deal with juggling your job and being a parent and having children? I personally, I don't have children, so I can't give any perspective on this whatsoever. So this is up to you guys. Melody, do you want to go first?
Yeah, it's a challenge. I have an 8-year-old and a 12-year-old, and I will say that it's difficult because you need to have support. And I'm a single mother, so I'm thankful I have friends around me who are very supportive and helping me in the in-between. And, the company that I worked for, has been very, this is the one company I've ever worked for that's actually cared about me and my children and the value. And the superintendent has been very empathetic towards me being a parent. And it's been nice, but I've been able to go to school plays and musicals and, to graduations. And that's something I haven't experienced in my 19 years of being an operator until this year. Right. So it's just been, it's a challenge, but the thing is that I know that I'm doing the best thing for my kids.
Okay. So I guess my next question would be, when your children were infants, immediately after birth and such, when you went back to work, how did you deal with childcare?
I had the same lady that I have now.
Okay. So you chose like a personal person, not like a daycare or something like that.
Right. It's a personal person, somebody who understands that I work long hours. Like I've only been a single parent for 3 years.
Right.
And it's the same person that I had for so long. And she's been very supportive because she grew up with a single mother. And so it's very helpful to have someone to be there, to have your back on those situations. Because when you work those 15 to 18-hour days in the tower crane, it's hard. It's a hard day.
It is.
I remember, I'm sorry, real quick. Melody, one thing that blew my mind when I was interviewing to get, you ladies on the show, is that you said you were climbing the tower at 7 months pregnant, which is something I couldn't even fathom. Like, I remember watching me and my wife, we've had 3 kids, and I remember just the misery that she was in, let alone, you still having to climb a tower doing that. That blows my mind. How did you make it through that?
Well, your wife was blessed, so she was able to stay home because you were working, and I was the main breadwinner, so I had to work. And the union didn't know what to do over there in DC. So, I mean, I just kept going. I was doing the African American Museum, and I was just like, you know what? It's night shift, it's easy work, and I kind of hid the pregnancy for a while. I was trying to hope that they would just think I was fat for a while, but then I started rounding out, and then they were like, "Oh, you're pregnant." I'm like, "Maybe." So then they put me in the yard for a little bit, and that was fun. I get to do other things, but in the same breath, it's just like, I understand my duty as an operator.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I had my kids before I started. My children are 31 and 29. So now I'm missing grandbaby stuff.
How old were they when you like joined the industry?
Let's see, 4 and 2.
Okay, so you have had to juggle it, just not so much now.
Yeah, that the whole daycare thing, because during doing dirt work, it's not a 9 to 5.
No,
it's a 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. kind of thing.
Right.
My ex-husband would pick him up because he had the 40-hour. He was a carpenter superintendent for the local union. He worked for a company, and so he got off work at 3:30, 4:30 every day, so he could pick him up.
Right.
But working, growing up and going to school events,
Right. It's hard to find that balance.
Yeah.
How do you think that being blue collar, because blue collar women, we're seen as rough around the edges, aggressive, all these different adjectives that aren't realistic. I mean, how do you think that has affected your personal life? Like how people perceive you? If people, when you tell someone your job, if they're like, "Oh, what do you really do?" Like, how have you experienced
that? All my friends think it's cool as shit. And my kids' friends and everybody thought it was pretty cool, so I grew up in a union, born and bred kind of a family,
Right.
and so all of my friends, well, not all my friends, but all of my married friends, whatever, their husbands were in it. None of the women were. It was just me. But and if it bothered somebody, I didn't give a shit.
Absolutely.
I'm like, yeah, take your $15 an hour job and get excited.
Nice.
Melody, how about you? Melody, how about you? How do you think this has affected like your personal life or like even dating or anything like that?
Oh, let's not go there.
You want to go into dating?
Insecure men.
I was married for 10 years, so I just recently became a single mom, so it's not really dating. I'm more of one of those. I focus on what I got in front of me.
Right,
so I have 2 children, and my job is enough for myself right now.
Absolutely.
And I think that it's just more like you just got to learn the balance, and then you have to get your supers to be able to, understand that you have a life outside the job.
Absolutely.
And some people don't understand that, and it's all up to it, to the job site, because the hours that we work. So overall, I feel that, the industry's gotten better, but we still pull the hours, and that's part of understanding your responsibility as an operator, because you're the only one in that seat. And so you're lucky to have a relief operator on a job site.
Absolutely, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I got another question for you then. One thing me and Carrie were talking about earlier was that being in a masculine profession, but still embracing and holding on to femininity, because I've seen a lot of women come on and they dress really baggy clothes, they hide their figure. It's like they're trying to blend in with the guys. What are your thoughts on about that? Do you even give a damn about that, Jody? I'm pretty sure I know the answer to your question is, if they don't like what I do, fuck them.
Yeah.
But
I know personally.
What are your thoughts on it? And Melody and Jody?
As we all, when we were getting prepared, none of us, we are cleaved women. Okay. I do not stick my cleave out. I wear a t-shirt. I wear, strap them down. But I like to wear makeup. I do my hair for work. Yep. Jody knows. I do my makeup for work. I have a pink vest. I have a pink cowboy hat, hard hat. I've got my backpack. I paint my nails on the crane. I embrace my femininity. When I first joined the union, I was like, I need to wear the baggy pants. I need to, I just need to blend in. And then I realized that's going to get me nowhere. I need to feel like myself, or else this is pointless. I mean, yeah, I can make all this money, but if I'm not happy with myself, there is no reason to do this. So I just did me. And, people are like, oh, nice vest. Some people will be like, oh, is that even, yeah, you want to see the sticker? It's real. Come on. And that's it. Like, I am happy to go to work. I am happy to feel like myself and be proud of what I do and be who I am without having to cut out and pretend to be something that I'm not, personally.
Very nice. And Melody?
I think the beauty of a woman is important on a job site. She's naturally a helper. So, in the same breath, like, I just let me be me, because why would I want to be fake, like, on a job site? I enjoy people, but, like, if you're disrespectful, I'm not going to give you any room to talk. So I just move on. And no matter what, everyone's going to have an opinion, like buttholes, right? So we just keep on moving forward, because, no matter what, there are always going to be haters, always. So, and I don't let me being in a box all day long, like, I don't really care. If I do my nails, like you just said, Kariahna, I'll do my nails. If I want to sit there and read a book, I'll read a book. I mean, it's like, why change yourself? Why?
Well, this is what I look like when I go to work, because this is what I look like when I came home from work today.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I got the girls strapped down. I was,
right.
Keep my hair up. I have long hair like Mel. I keep it all, up so it's out of my face. Very rarely anymore do I have it down. And my bandanas, and I try to not wear too tight anything just because, but
right.
Again, if I feel like wearing, hot pants, I guess I'll wear hot pants. I don't give a shit.
Or hot pants jeggings, or hot pants jeggings.
I think
are they jeggings? Are they leggings? Are those?
I don't ever wear leggings. Mel, you and I had that conversation when we worked together. It's like, I have to wear jeans.
I would jeans only.
I sit all day, so I don't need it binding in the bits, So
get a little swampy.
Yeah, I like the little air to breathe there.
Mm-hmm.
But I also am one that takes my shoes off in the crane. What are they gonna do?
Yeah.
Do you need to choose leggings or jeans, or do you just wear jeans, Travis?
I'm a jeans guy. So it's Wranglers. Yeah, I think I'll stick with my Wranglers.
Leggings, Travis?
So I don't know.
Okay,
You don't know what? Maybe I little thermal insulation in the winter.
Jeans.
No, I have baggy jeans because, like you said, I don't like the jeans all up on my junk.
I wear swimming. I wear skinny jeans. So. I do at work, but only because that's the only type of pants I wear. Like, that's literally all I've ever worn. That's what I'm comfortable in. Mm-hmm. I the stretchy kind, not the.
Yeah.
No. And then I get in the cab and I unbutton my pants so I can sit there.
I can't say I haven't done that.
Yeah, I can't either.
That's one thing that I think most operators do. Like, I've been up, like, go fill in for operators or something like that, and they will have their buttons unbuttoned on their jeans.
It's so comfortable.
It's all great until the safety guy comes knock and tells you can't do that anymore.
Hey, I ain't got to worry about the safety guy. He don't want to climb up my crane.
This is true. All right. So
I have a story. Hold on. I have a story in Iowa here. Way back, this gentleman's name, he's passed, and it's a funny story. His name was Red Van Horn. Anyway, he would climb the tower and he'd get buck ass naked. And
I got in trouble.
I mean, we're talking 30, 40 years ago. So, but no AC, no nothing. And he got in trouble. And so he's like, well, I'm not going to wear my clothes. I'll wear my underdrawers.
I got in trouble for that same thing, Jody, but I was wearing boy shorts and a spaghetti strap top, and they said I was a distraction on the job. But there was no AC. It was like 100 degrees. It was very uncomfortable. So what did I do? I just went to my boy shorts and spaghetti top.
Why wouldn't you?
I know.
If I could do it, I would.
Honestly, I figured if you're high enough up, nobody's going to notice anyways.
Right.
Well, I got white legs, so it kind of reflects off the glass, and so everyone sees my white legs. It's kind of hard to hide them.
That's what tint's for.
That was
Okay,
what?
so
Tint on the windows.
What?
Oh.
Yes. All right. So going into probably our final question, young women looking for a career, trying to figure out what they want to do with their life. Why would you recommend them to come into the trades, into cranes, or this industry? And what advice do you have for young women coming into the industry?
Go ahead, Mel.
I'm always about, this job is very rewarding. So it's not like pushing papers in an office. And so like Jody, she didn't like being an accountant. She pushed papers, and she was able to see that, hey, there's more money to be made in the trades. And I think that it's something about just seeing your production at the end of the job and seeing what you accomplished. Like it's so much greater of a feeling that versus paperwork, And I know that it's in my trade in tower cranes, it's difficult because it's all who you know. You can go to a crane school and get your license. You can go to the union, but are they going to give you the chance on the job site? That's the biggest thing as a woman in construction, because you'll walk in that office and they'll be like, you know what I mean? They kind of don't really have that confidence in you. But, the one thing that I look at ultimately is that I try to land my loads with the grace of a feather, and I try to make the best of my day every day. And I'm an encourager, and I try to make people happy. And, the thing is that you can't make everyone happy, but this industry is rewarding, very rewarding. And you just got to persevere and know that ultimately the end game is your paycheck, and you get to keep a roof over your head and food in your children's mouth if you have children. And women are really beneficial in the field.
Absolutely. Jody, what are your recommendations?
Mostly I ask, if somebody's thinking about getting in, I ask them, I'm like, well, you can do like me and go to college and then throw that in the garbage and then get a real job that you don't have to, worry about who's going to pay your bills, because you can. And, as far as the union goes, I tell them, they're like, well, I don't know anything. And I'm like, oh no, we'll train you. We will train you.
Yes.
That's what the apprenticeship is for.
Absolutely.
And then I give them the idea, and then I tell them what I make.
You tell them what you make?
Hell yeah.
I do too.
It's not a secret. Look up my contract.
It's so encouraging.
I mean, it's I'm not going to tell them if I'm making over.
It's the biggest benefit of the job.
Yeah.
The paycheck when you go home.
Do you like driving that broke down Honda, or do you want to buy a new truck? Because I've got two of them.
Oh yeah.
And it goes back to the dating thing. Yeah, you probably aren't going to have a life for a while. You get through that apprenticeship, that 3-year apprenticeship, and you can go and do whatever you want. I mean, I travel all over the country. That's how I met Mel. I mean, I've been all over the country, and I never hardly have any problems getting work. I call the hall. Hey, this is me. This is what I do. Now I get called.
Right.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
So any other last tidbits of advice for Kariahna? Do you have anything, things recommendations of do's and don'ts on the job site?
I think there's two things. I think for the women that are already in, we need to come to these younger women and come to these women that kind of like, oh, that's really cool, and like encourage them and help them if they want to. Because I know I've talked to a lot of women and I'm like, all right, come on, I'll go with you to the hall. Like, let's go ahead, let's do this. You know, we can do this together. I know sometimes being in this industry as a woman, it feels like you're alone sometimes. Like there's no one else that really understands that feeling. We have Facebook groups, and in that group, there's so much unity in these women where it's like, you have an issue, it doesn't matter how minute or how big it is, you post in that page immediately, you're going to have 10 women within the first 5-10 minutes that are coming to help you. Getting past the alone feeling and you know, the anxiety of just, am I even capable of doing this? Because the world and society has said, no, you're not. You can be a teacher, you can be a cook, you can be a waiter, you can be this and that. You can't be a crane operator, you can't do that. And you can. It's getting past that feeling of, can I even do this? That's the hardest part. Because once you start getting in the seat and getting comfortable and getting to know these other women, then you realize there's nothing holding you back at all. And you can just keep going after goal after goal after goal. But for the women that aren't in, it's the same thing. Find women that are in the trades. It doesn't matter whether they're a carpenter or an operator. If you want to join the trades, it doesn't matter what trade it is.
Exactly.
It is so fun out here. If you don't want to be an operator, that's awesome. There's carpenters, there's painters, there's ironworkers. There's so many opportunities for women that they don't even know are there for them because, you know, it's not presented on a silver platter like it is to the men. And so we as the women that are already in the trades have to continue to reach out to these people who don't know about it, to these women that are just trying to figure out what they want to do with life. And I think a lot of it falls on us that are already in. I really do.
Definitely.
Oh, I agree with you completely, Kariahna. Like, I mean, you think about the people who were ahead of us in our time. Like, there's this lady, Nancy Joe, and there's another lady, Lodi. She was the two people that I kind of looked towards of, like, my encouragement into being an operator. And, you know, if they can do it, I can do it.
Absolutely.
So I think it's very important that you have to have that mindset that, you know, just because you're a woman doesn't mean you can't be an operator. Absolutely. I mean, I think that that's something that has been ingrained that, oh, we're just made to be women at the home front. No, I mean, you can you can be at the home front and you can be in the crane, you know, it's really all a mindset. And if you're stronger than, you know, your enemy is saying, hey, you can't do it. You got to show them, like Jody said earlier, you know, watch me do it. Watch me do it.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Next time I'm getting shit on job site, I'm gonna be like, listen, Jody said you can fuck off.
That's right.
Okay.
Wait,
Jody
here I got one, and here's another. What I tell them not to do, don't fuck anybody.
Don't do that. It's the big
names together.
Do not.
Men are such gossips.
Do not.
Oh, they're
not
terrible.
On the job site. There's too many dating apps.
The job I'm on, my boss, I'm the only woman in a crane. I mean, we've got one forklift hand, I think. And I get in the truck to go out to the site because we've got 2 trucks, and I ride with him. Next I hear, oh, she's fucking him. And I'm like, I got kids older than him. I'm like, why are you thinking that I'm fucking him? I'm like, well, you get in his truck every day.
Oh, jeez.
I do.
I'm not walking.
I go, and then I'm like, well, you get into Brad's truck every day. You fucking him? Well, no. Really?
I love how you turn it around so quickly.
Oh, I
Jody.
do. It's like
she reflects it right back.
No, it's with such ease too. I tip my hat to you,
Travis. She's got experience with this, so
I do.
Absolutely.
But you know, I mean, there's so many of them that get on the site and they, you know, they're there for part-time. You know, they're there to check out the scene. They're, you know, they come all glammed up and they are looking for attention. Girl, keep your head down, do your fucking job. Learn, ask questions, but not those questions. And you'll get through it, you know. There's nothing that you can't do. I mean, if I felt that way, I would have never gotten into cranes. I mean, my dad was a crane operator. I never wanted to live up to his reputation, you know, because he was like one of the top ones in Iowa. Well, then when they told me I couldn't, I'm like, oh, okay.
Challenge accepted.
And, you know, and I heard it again with crawlers, and I've run some of the bigger ones, you know, I mean, back to 520 foot of stick is my, it was 18 without a maxer, the max I could have in Maine and Luffer.
So what is, then Jody, what is your heaviest pick that you've ever picked?
412,000 pounds.
Jeez. You got me by miles, just miles worth.
Her stick sounds like it's
it
a
was
whole lot
only
bigger
one.
than yours.
It was only one.
It
pick.
is. Yeah. Hey,
Jody's
it's
over here
genetic. Okay.
flying.
Melody was there.
Was I there?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
All right.
I
Well,
was busy working.
we're gonna let's
All
move
my
on to our
pictures of that job were from her.
we're gonna move on to our final topic, our close. we're gonna check out the closing topic. It's time for picking in the blind. All right, Kariahna, go ahead. You got the picking in the blind for this episode. What is your question?
Okay, so for the people that haven't been here before, picking in the blind is just some random topic that we end with. It doesn't necessarily have to be about the trades or anything like that. So my picking in the blind question today is, if you never joined the trades, what would you do that you would be happy with?
I can answer this.
Melody, go ahead.
Well, I wanted to be an ultrasound technician, the opposite of being a tower crane operator.
Absolutely.
I wanted to give that joy of a parent knowing what their baby was going to be and showing them those pictures, and that's what I wanted to do when I was in college. But when you're struggling and then dad offers you $18 an hour at 18 years old, I mean, you can't say no to that.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I'm going to put this on hold, save up some money so I can finish up college, and I'll go back to college. But I haven't gone back yet.
Jody?
I'd like to say that I wouldn't be an accountant, but I know I wouldn't. I probably would have, and this is going to be strange, because I would probably have a quilt store.
Oh.
I am an avid
that.
sewer and crocheter, and I used to have a long arm sewing business, and I probably would have taken that to the next level.
That's awesome. Would you consider yourself a seamstress?
Oh yes, I've done everything from wedding dresses to
That's
washcloths.
impressive. I did not know that about you, Jody.
Yeah.
That is very impressive. I have spent the last year getting into cosplay, costume making, and being a tailor, tailoring stuff and making some clothes. And I'll say I've found sewing is incredibly relaxing and a lot of fun.
And it can be very stressful.
I do it just as a hobby.
All right.
Yeah.
If you weren't an operator, what would you be?
Honestly, if I wasn't in the trades in general, because I've done mining, framing, trucking, soldiering, probably be an auctioneer.
Oh,
Actually, that's something I wanted to do, and I never chased.
What kind of auctioneer? Like a house auctioneer, or like cattle?
Like cattle auctions or real estate. It's not so much real estate auctions, but estate sales.
Humada, floor.
That chant, that rhythm, that just more of a sing-song style to it. I've always found that fascinating, and that's honestly was something that if I'd never went into the trades, it's something I would have done. Kariahna, what about yourself?
So before I joined the trades, I was a sign language interpreter at a local college.
Really?
Yeah. So that is what I would do. I was an interpreter before this, and I would go back to it in a heartbeat. I still do little stuff. I'll do weddings and funerals. I have done a lot of funerals and different things like that. But that was something that I was really passionate about for a while. I was in college for 3 years. I was going to be a teacher at the deaf school, but then I looked at how much money make, and it just did not see something that fit my lifestyle.
Mhm.
So, but it's something I do on the side still. So that is what I would do if I was not a crane operator.
My aunt and uncle were both deaf, so it's nice. I took 3 years in high school,
Yeah.
so I learned sign language, and it was nice to be able to communicate with your hands.
It's so nice.
I do all the time.
That is amazing, actually, because my daughter, she's a year and a half old, and she's a little delayed when it comes to speaking. She's not speaking a lot. So what we're trying to do is, as we try to get her to talk, we're also getting her to do some basic level sign language. You know, like more, eat,
food,
thank you,
milk.
little stuff like that. So
I need it.
yes,
What?
that is so cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that this about closes up our very special episode with our Sisters of the Hook. Ladies, thank you very much for being on here. Really appreciate it. Hopefully it was fun for you. And, again, I can't thank you enough. And I respect you guys greatly for what you've done and, coming on and telling your story.
Thank you
for having us.
Yes, yes. Thank you for reaching out. It's been
Well,
great.
absolutely.
We were happy to have you guys.
Mm-hmm.
My girl there.
Yep, Melody, Jody, you came strongly recommended for Jody after I kind of did an interview from her, and I was like, okay, I'm putting together this cast here, and she's like, you got to get a hold of my friend Jody. Here's her Facebook, and send her a message. And I was like, I felt so weird, just sending out random dude, just sending out messages to these strange women, just like, hey, what do you do for your cranes?
Hey, I heard you drive a crane.
But it's like the same questions that every crane operator gets. It's like, I mean, I'm sure you don't get that, but like, where's your bathroom? Do you climb up there every day? Like, there's the same 5 questions as an operator you get. And so you kind of gotten accustomed to answering them accordingly.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. So, all right. Well, thank you again, ladies. And thank you, kind listener, for joining us on this podcast and making it this far. If you appreciate everything that we're doing on the Linepull Podcast, please go ahead and like, share, subscribe, comment. You can find us on almost any platform, whether it be Apple Radio, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and a plethora of others. So again, thank you, ladies. Thank you, listeners, for making it this far. And we will catch you guys on the next episode.
Bye, guys.
Bye.